Next man up, 102.5, The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly with you on this TD Thursday. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. TD, what's going on? It is good to be back with you. I was out last week. It is nice to have you for schedule release day today.
Yeah, it is definitely nice to be in the building. Good to have you back. Hopefully you had a good time on your trip. I did see the pictures. I know that was from previous, but really good pictures. Made me smile very heavily. It took me back, man, seeing the pictures and just imagining the emotion. I know that had to be a dope time for you, and then you got to celebrate this past week.
Right. It was an awesome day, really fun week, but I am glad to be back with you. Going to be a fun show today. We've got lots to get to, of course. The schedule release coming out later tonight. We did learn in the last hour that it will be Titans and Jets at Nissan Stadium in week one. First home opener for the Titans in week one since 2022 against the Giants.
Brian Daboll and crew came here and ruined the show.
Yeah, the Titans were up, 10 or 15 at halftime, and then Saquon Barkley took
had the
over.
65-yarder.
He scored the 2-point conversion to win it in the final minute.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones had that throw. Remember, he hit who was it? Was it Sterling Shepard?
It might have been Sterling Shepard. I think you're right.
He hit him for that was something else, man. But home opener against the Giants, Jets rather, Robert Saleh revenge game. You got to love all the storylines that are going. Tavondre Sweat coming back to Nissan
Jarvis
Stadium. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Man, buckle up the chin straps because, Jarvis over under how many pass interference calls you think Jarvis is going to get because you're going to want to put hands on.
Are they lining him up on Carnell Tate to start the day?
Ooh-wee. Must-see TV right there, man. He going to be on somebody, right? Well, hey, listen.
Calvin Ridley?
That's actually the matchup I want to see because that's two very emotional guys.
Yeah.
Hotheads, that's very fun.
They'll get a little physical. They would absolutely.
Absolutely. And let me say this. I'm really happy that Ridley's back.
Yeah.
I love Ridley. Yeah, I'll say it. Ridley is actually my favorite player I've ever watched practice.
Yeah, you've been saying that before of just like the way he attacks every single day the same way. It's impressive. And it's good when you have a young receiver room like the Titans do to have a guy like that in the room.
Yep. I love the sense of urgency he practices with. It's more intense than anyone I've ever seen. Even Steve Smith Sr.
Really?
Yeah. It's more intense just as far as like how hard he goes on every rep. Very, very happy that he's back. Because, obviously, you go to work to cover the sport and do that, but you also go because you just enjoy it. Like, you love the game.
You got to enjoy football to cover football.
Right. And so, like, seeing that, it's a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun watching it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
When he does practice.
When he is healthy, I'm excited to see Calvin Ridley out there with this group. We're going to dive deeper on the wide receivers later in the show as well. But some big news yesterday, Cam Ward going to be featured on the new season of quarterback this summer. So they followed him around along with Baker Mayfield, Jaden Daniels, and Joe Flacco this past season. We'll get some behind-the-scenes looks there. I'm excited to see it, even though it was an underwhelming rookie season for Cam Ward and the team as a whole. I think it'll be cool to see how he handled the adversity, especially when Brian Callahan gets fired. How did that sequence all go on? What was Cam Ward thinking behind the scenes in his personal life? I do think that that's going to be really interesting to get a behind-the-scenes look at his rookie year.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool to see that, just to see the interactions. How was that back and forth with? Because I asked all the time about that, the back and forth with. Because, you got three, Nick Holtz, Bo Hardegree, and Brian Callahan, all of which were so heavily involved with the play design, the play sheet, everything. So how was that interaction? That's going to be fun to see that firsthand. And then just see, just the day-to-day, how it looked. You know what I mean? I enjoyed the Cam Underdog documentary, now we're going to get to see this from the Netflix perspective. And then also, obviously, you got Baker Mayfield mixed in. You got Joe Flacco. That's pretty cool, right? You see him get traded mid-season. and at 41 years old, make his first Pro Bowl. You know, that's going to be cool. And then obviously everything that Jaden Daniels went through, you know, he came in, led the Commanders to the NFC Championship game, and he couldn't be touched. And then look what happened last year. That's the beauty of football. It will uplift you, but it'll humble you too.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why it's funny because obviously Netflix has to choose these quarterbacks before the year, right? Like you choose them not knowing how it's going to pan out. And there are years where they had Mahomes on there and they went to the Super Bowl. And, you know, you probably felt okay about the Chiefs are going to have a good season when you put Patrick Mahomes on there. But that was kind of what they expected. This year, I don't know if they got what they expected from any of these guys. Jaden Daniels, of course, dealt with the injuries. Baker Mayfield got off to such a great start to the season and just faltered down the stretch.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see how, like, kind of what the turning point was there. He was an MVP candidate for a month and a half of the season, and then the Buccaneers struggled.
The turning point was the loss to the Patriots.
You're right.
That was the first of a 3-game streak, and then they won another 2 and then lost 4 straight.
Right.
And at week 12, he had the injury, the shoulder injury. So
right. And then you mentioned Joe Flacco getting traded midseason and having to deal with that at like you said, 41 years old. I think Cam Ward might be the star of this show, though, right? Because Baker Mayfield, you know his personality. And I think he's toned it down, of course, as he's gotten older. He's now a veteran. He's married. Like he's settled down from what he was at Oklahoma in his first couple years in the league. Jaden Daniels is, I think we kind of know his personality. He's a little bit of a lower key type of guy, but I think Cam Ward, his personality, a lot of the national audience does not know what he is like.
Yeah.
We obviously see it day in and day out here. I think it's going to be really fun to see the wider NFL fan base get to see what Cam Ward is like off the field.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing. You know, he actually seeing him in the locker room. And then you started to see it a little bit in the press conferences and stuff, you know. The scrum at Jeffrey Simmons' locker, he comes over and he's Jeff, just answer the question, Jeff. You know, and then just even Simmons walking by while he's at the podium. What, Jeffrey? You know, and just all of that. He has personality, and he's I like his mental makeup. You know, he was raised from a good family, and he knows. Long story short, perspective. He has an old person. He has a 49-year-old's perspective. You know, it's like you took my brain and put it into his, as far as being able to, my brain, meaning my age brain, and put it into his, as far as being able to put things in perspective. In order to win, you got to lose. Right. I'm blessed to get paid to play this game that I love. I watch my dad get up at 4 a.m. going to work every day. I'm blessed to be in this position. Like those types of things, the perspective. How pressure? No, I'm blessed to play football. You know, when you look at it that way, you can handle everything that's on your shoulder.
Yeah, the maturity level, I think, was clear from the beginning with Cam Ward. You mentioned the quote about his dad. That's a really mature thought to have as a 22-year-old at that point, or maybe 23. But to be able to put that in perspective of, my dad woke up early every morning to do a job he didn't want to do. I'll wake up as early as it takes to be great at something I do love to do. So I'm excited to see Cam Ward on quarterback. I believe it's a July release is when it'll start coming out. So we will get to see July 13th.
July 14th.
14th. Yep. July 14th. We'll get to see Cam Ward along with Jaden Daniels, Joe Flacco, and Baker Mayfield on the newest season of quarterback. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's go to the phones. Dustin in Hopkinsville is called in. Dustin, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I want y'all to look down and let me know, are both shoes tied, and then are they good and tight?
Yeah, we're good to go, Dustin. What you got?
No slip-ons?
Nope.
All right, hold your hats. I got a hot take. Jared Stillman will probably blow his top.
Nah.
Game 1, Jets, Titans. Levis balls out in the preseason. That quarterback room is going to dwindle down for the Jets, and Geno Smith is not an A-plus quarterback. Will Levis traded to the Jets. Game 1, Will Levis versus Cameron Ward. The trade Jarvis Brownlee back to the Titans. Will Levis to the Jets. We all know that ain't going to happen, but I could see Will Levis actually going to the Jets at some point this season. I really could. I'd hate it for him because it's the end of his career if he does, but yeah. But like you said with Calvin Ridley, man, I'm excited about Ridley being back now. I wasn't before, but just seeing didn't he get offered more money or something? He decided to stay with us.
He
had
took
to take a cut,
like a $15 million pay cut.
Oh, he took a cut. See, now that tells me all I need to know about Calvin Ridley. Man takes a $15 million pay cut. Yeah, I'm glad to have him here. I hope he doesn't get injured. I really think that the younger wide receivers, especially adding Wandale and Tate, are going to take a lot of pressure off him, give his body rest. Like, it's not just all on him. You know, they're going to double up on Tate, hopefully, and sometimes Wandale, and it's going to give room for Ridley to go out there and catch long balls. That's what he's good at.
Yeah,
I'm excited about him being back. Yep. And the person he is, that tells me a lot about him. I've never seen him do anything out of character, and that's what I like on my teams. Just stay on the field, my dude.
Hey, Dustin,
Right.
before you get off, have you read anything about Ridley's story?
I have not.
Okay. This is what I want to. I did a story about Ridley last year, and just what he went through.
Was there something with his mom?
His mom, his parents, they had a background in drug dealing, and his dad got taken away. His mom, got into trouble, and then they went into foster.
Like it's a great story already.
Yeah, just type in ESPN Calvin Ridley Turron Davenport, and you'll see it there.
Yeah, and I just started my business, and I'm letting the Lord lead it, and that is what I hope to be able to do, to be financially equipped to help young kids. Man, kids have my heart. My buddy just posted on Facebook 2 days ago that his son Arrow has leukemia, and man, it hit me like it's my own kid. I had to sit in the trailer for a little bit and just cry out to the Lord, man, and just ask him to have his hand. But it's his will, we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to read that story because I like stories like that, man. Those feel-good stories where people came from nothing to conquer.
Yeah, you'll be surprised, man. Appreciate you
All right,
calling in.
That
was awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
combo.
thanks for the call, Dustin. Good stuff there. Yeah. I think everybody can agree that Calvin Ridley, even if it doesn't mean he's going to be 1,000-yard receiver again this year, his presence in the room is going to help some of the young guys. The Will Levis trade, I'm going to say probably not.
That was him just taking his shot at right in the episode from Ballers.
Yeah,
he and Rashad Mendenhall, they got together and they're gonna
see with Will Levis. Maybe the Jets could end up being a suitor. I would guess the Titans wouldn't trade him there for week 1 when you're playing the Jets. And the Jets also took Cade Klubnik. They may honestly say, we got Klubnik for 4 years. Let's see what he can do rather than trade an asset for Will Levis. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Again, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Much more coming on this TD Thursday. Your chance to talk to TD coming up at 10. Get your questions in. Again, our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll keep talking schedule release coming up next. We'll talk about what's important. What do the players, what do the coaches look for when the schedule comes out today in terms of what they need to prepare for the new season. We'll do it next. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Today, Vanderbilt baseball takes on Louisville at Hawkins Field. First pitch is at 5. Catch all the action on 102.5 The Game. Coverage presented by Gary Force Acura. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly with you on this TD Thursday. TD, I meant to do this off the top of the show, but I got to let you rub it in a little bit. Your Mets taking the series against the Tigers the last 2 days.
Oh, man, yeah, what a game. Man. Lost Soto for a bit, and Francisco Alvarez, but very encouraging. You got to see the baby Mets, man. A.J. Ewing.
Yeah.
Carson Bench. A.J. Ewing scored. Carson Bench, had the single. Yeah, it's encouraging, but, I mean, between the way that they're playing and what these airfare prices are doing, yeah, I may go to 2 more games, but that's about it. And I'm not complaining because it's a blessing just to be able to get on a plane and go see see them play. Not everybody could do that. So don't get me wrong, it's not first world complaints or anything like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing that. If I can though, real quick though, I want to shout out my daughter, Devin. Little Debbie, man. That's my little rascal. That's my youngest. She's 17. And Devin Davenport got an associate's degree before she got her high school degree.
Wow.
So she graduated. So her school, early college, high school, they have a dual program. And she got her associate's degree from Nashville Community College in general studies. And she's going to be able to take those credits to Ohio State when she goes there.
That's amazing.
And she graduates from early college tomorrow. So definitely I always get personal as far as like with my family and things like that, but I got to shout her out for that. Devin, great job.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So her graduation is tomorrow for that before she even graduates high school. That's really cool.
Well, she got the what's today? Thursday. Tuesday was her graduation from Nashville State.
Okay.
Yeah. It was over at Lipscomb, and then she's going to have the graduation from high school. Yeah, it's been a big week for her, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I am looking forward to the schedule release tonight, TD, and I think that's kind of where everybody's eyes are right now with the Titans. Jets week 1, we know that, and it might be the Titans' first chance to win an opener since 2020? Was that the last time they won?
Yeah, because you had the Cardinals one. They remember the Cardinals
that just blitzed them. D-Hop had 3 touchdowns.
Christian Kirk had 1.
Chandler Jones had 5 sacks that day.
He murdered Taylor the one.
Yeah, he did. And that was the year the Titans were the 1 seed in the AFC. Funny enough, 2022 was the Giants one, and then the last 3 years were all on the road. It was
Cleveland
Saints.
in 2019.
That was
So if we go to
Saints were in 2023.
Right, the Broncos last year. Broncos, Saints.
Bears the year before in the middle in 2024. That was the year Bears. They blew it. They had the 21-3 lead or something like that.
Levis meme moment.
20 I kind of want to see how far back we can go. 2019 was the Browns. That was the blowout win when Odell's first game with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. 2018 was the
Dolphins.
That was my first game.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that for a first game?
What the heck? They ran out of they had to send Jeb Johnston, their security guy. He had to go get them food, man. He was grabbing hot dogs, Crustables, like a whole bunch of. I did a story on it, man. It was crazy.
That was what a ridiculous day that was. And then Delaney Walker broke his leg,
man. And that was when Lawan got that crazy concussion.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that's the one that Will Compton always tweets of him looking like he died on the field. 2017 was the Raiders at home.
Before I got here.
That was Marshawn Lynch's first game with the Raiders.
2017 for me was at the Redskins.
Eagles,
Redskins.
Yeah.
I remember Nelson Aguilar had a 51-yard touchdown. And that's why I was like, this might be a special year.
And they won the Super Bowl that year, right?
Yeah.
We need Parker to get the drop of they were throwing the babies out the window and we were catching them, unlike Aguilar.
Unlike Aguilar. Yo, that fan base, everybody rails on the Philly fan base, but they're actually fun.
No, they are. They're fun, when they're until they're not.
Yeah. I remember the one time I used to sometimes I'd take the train to the game. I would it was just easier sometimes, whatever. So I took the train and I remember I got out and I was walking over to the stadium. This was 2016, like my first year covering the Eagles. And I remember I was walking along the parking lot at Citizens Bank Field. And they're like, "What are you doing? You think you're going to your prom in that suit?" And I'm like, I flashed my credential, like, "Shut up," you know what I mean, and just kept it going. But those fans are fun, man.
I mean, they are entertaining to say the very least.
Yeah.
So I want to see how far back I can remember. 2016 was the Vikings. Does that sound right? That was DeMarco Murray's first game with the Titans, I want to say. 2015 was Mariota's first game, the Buccaneers win, where he threw 4 touchdowns.
2016, yeah.
14.
I can't tell you the Titans openers after.
I gotta say, I think I can go back to like 2012. 14 was the Chiefs because they won that game and only won one other game the rest of the season.
Damn.
13, I want to say 2013 was the Steelers game where Darius Raynaud took the opening kick at the 1-yard line and then stepped back into the end zone and took a knee, and it was a safety. That was the first play of the season.
Damn.
I want to say that's right. And then I think 2012 was the Patriots. I think that's as far back as I can go.
2012 was the last time they had a before Chim did his. That was the last time they had a punt return for a touchdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Darius Raynaud did that.
Maybe yes, it was. The first play of the game was a 2-point safety because Darius Raynaud took the knee into the end zone. There we go. I think those 15 I can go 15 years back. I don't think I can go much further than that.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if I could tell you any week 2 or week 3 games, but I can tell you the openers. 615-737-1025. The Titans will open the season against the Jets at home. First home opener since 2022, and a good chance at their first win in week 1 since 2020. We will continue talking about the schedule, what's important to look for the players, for the coaches, and will this Titans schedule actually be easier this year? After last year, the Titans had a 4th-place schedule that ended up being the hardest in the entire NFL. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. All of our football offseason coverage is brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks. Locally brewed, community-driven Tennessee Brewworks, the official craft beer of the football offseason coverage on ESPN 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly with you on this TD Thursday. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly alongside you on your Thursday morning. Getting ready for the NFL schedule release tonight. We got the first official or reported game on the Titans schedule. Week 1 will be against Robert Saleh's former team, the New York Jets, here at Nissan Stadium. I do want to make a correction here. I always say I'm Ron Burgundy. I'll read what you put on the prompter. Vandy Baseball's game tonight is against South Carolina. First pitch at 6 on 102.5 The Game. Wanted to make that correction. It said Louisville at 5. It's South Carolina at 6. But tonight we will get the Titans 2026 schedule. They're opening the season at home against the Jets. It is supposed to be an easier schedule this year. Can't be much harder. The Titans had the hardest schedule in the NFL last season. But you look at the games on this slate, the opponents that they're going to play, and there seems to be some winnable games in there. Now, you're a team that's won 6 games over the past 2 years. You're going to have to prove that you can win those games before we start chalking up W's on the schedule. But I do think you look at this and you say, all right, there's going to be games the Titans should be competitive in. Can they start to take that next step forward to getting back to being a middle-of-the-road team, which obviously would be a lot better than what we've seen the last 2 years?
Yeah, and that's the main thing is can they do that? They have the 8th easiest strength of schedule based off of the 2025 records. Now, make of that what you will. Obviously, teams change from year to year. You look at the Raiders, they got a whole new quarterback. I mean, look at the Titans and what they've done. So there are some different things that will factor in. But I think when you look at this, they have the AFC North and they have the NFC East. NFC East, I think, presents a couple winnable games.
Commanders at home, I think, is
Commanders
certainly
at home,
winnable.
I think that's winnable.
Giants on the road.
And that could very well end up being a primetime game because John Harbaugh in of itself is a prime attraction.
Yeah.
And then you got, Brian Daboll and Robert Saleh going back to New York, Daboll going against his former teams, and we know there's
Brian Callahan, Denard Wilson.
Man, there's so many different things.
And
I'm glad that's a road game because, the Titans don't let us on the field before home games. But I will be down there for that Giants game. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the Jackson Dart, Cam Ward stuff.
That's the one.
The Giants Titans, there's become some semblance of a rivalry the last couple of years just because of the Ward versus Dart stuff. Of course, the Titans take Daboll as the offensive coordinator. They were both fighting for John Harbaugh at the beginning of the coaching search. So I think that'll be a really interesting game. There's been some leaks from this one account that says the Titans are playing the Giants in week 3. I'm not going to believe it until we see it from a reputable source.
Yeah.
But the only reputable report we've gotten on the Titans schedule is that the Jets will be coming to Nashville in week 1. I did see this from Jordan Schultz. You talk about the strength of schedule based on last year's winning percentage, which I think the Titans 26th in the league, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the expected wins, projected win totals, the Titans actually have the 13th hardest schedule in the NFL, or excuse me, the 13th easiest schedule. I was reading it wrong. But so it's a little bit more difficult when you look at what the projections are of what these teams will do in 2026, but still should be a much easier schedule than what we saw last year.
So what is this expected wins? Because
it might be based on like the Vegas odds. Okay. I'm not 100% sure.
I tend to roll my eyes when we get into it just reminds me of the EPA. Well, based off of his EPA, he should have had a spare me of that.
Right.
So when you said expected, my bad. Like I just went right to that, and I'm like, oh, bullcrap.
Well, no, I agree with you.
What you're saying, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
just the odds on a game.
Right. You can look at a team and say, oh, this team may have gone 4-13 last year, but based on what they've done in the offseason, we expect them to be better than 4-13. Gotcha. Last year, when you looked at the Titans schedule and you saw, oh, they're playing the Patriots, who were 3-14 the year before. Well, they went to the Super Bowl last year, so obviously it's a much tougher game than it may have looked like initially.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, just having been around the team and talking to coaches, what do you think they care about when the schedule comes out? Because for fans, it's more about primetime games. When are the home games set? Like, what games can I go to? Stuff like that. But for the players and the coaches, I'm sure it's more All right, when's the bye week? I think is number one.
Bye week is number one.
And maybe just like tough stretches. If there's like
Tough
a three-game road trip or something like that, I would guess those are probably the main things that come up in there.
Those are the ones you're typically looking at. So like you take last year, they played the Cardinals and they played the Raiders on the road. So you're looking at that and you're like, is that going to be 2 weeks away from home?
Are you going to stay out there?
You know what I mean? The players are looking at, obviously, the organization, because all of the logistics that they have to get into. You're typically looking at that. Sometime, like this year, I mean, I'm sure Jeffrey Simmons and a lot of the, tenured Titans are going to be looking like, when we get to see Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? That's going to be.
Do they play the Ravens?
They do, in Baltimore. Yes, sir.
I feel like I missed. Oh, you're right. They do. Yeah. I completely missed that. That will be a fun one. It's disappointing the Titans don't play the Patriots this year when you could get Kevin Byard and AJ Brown on the field.
That would have been a buy two, get one free, because you give Vrabel two and multiple others.
Right. Lots of other Harold Landry. Yeah.
Too bad. But yeah, so that's typically you're looking for the bye week. You're looking for tough stretches as far as like road stretches.
Yeah.
And then primetime games do come into play because guys like to play under the lights. You know what I mean? But after that, though, it's like, okay, do I got a homie on whatever team? And so it gets a little personal.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure Tavondre Sweat and Jarvis Brownlee are looking at like when is the Titans game?
Circle
That's what we want to, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that Jermaine Johnson is looking for that. I would imagine Wan'Dale Robinson, and the crew looking for, hey, John Franklin Myers, looking for playing the Jets. You know what I mean? When he played for them, like it's those types of things that guys look for too. But for the most part, it's mainly the bye week and any long, tough stretches.
The big question among fans is, do the Titans get any primetime games this year? After last year, got none, and the schedule makers came out and said, well, yeah, you pick Cam Ward number one overall, but you don't draft your way into primetime. You have to play your way into primetime.
And they didn't do that.
They did not do that. They won 3 games last year and probably shouldn't have won 3 games last year. Do you think they get one primetime game this season?
I will say no home primetime games. I think they'll be on the road. I believe the Ravens and Giants.
The Ravens, the Derrick Henry connection does that could end up playing into the Titans' favor there.
I think the Ravens and Giants. And I mean, they always love to throw Dallas on primetime.
Right.
So maybe Cam Ward going to the Star and facing Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. I could see that maybe. So I'll say 2 and a possible. Damn, but we're playing spades. That's not a good hand.
I think they will get one. And something that a lot of texters have brought up too is the rivalry uniforms. That last year, all of the teams that were included in the NFL rivalries, they got a primetime game. So I don't know if that is actually a rule that when you do these rivalry jerseys that you have to get a primetime game, but I wonder if maybe that plays a role as well.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I wasn't aware of that.
I didn't know if it was a rule or not, because like the Color Rush uniforms back in the day, those were exclusively Thursday Night Football, right? Like that was the thing. I don't know if for the rivalry uniforms, if they've said, these are going to be worn in prime time, but I think they'll get one. I think the NFL tries to avoid going 2 years without putting a team in prime time.
Yeah, you want to keep a team in rotation. That makes sense. But I'll say this though. I remember the Color Rush against the Jaguars. And that used to be pretty much the only time I would watch a full game of the Titans, unless they were playing somebody like in cross film study or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think they should get at least one primetime.
I think so too. And
Baltimore is just ideal for me. But again, like I love the Giants matchup.
Yeah,
I think that's actually it's tough to go again. I'm gonna tell you this too. I don't care if AJ Brown's on the Eagles or not. That's gonna be a fun game when they come here. But that Giants one with the 2 young quarterbacks, that's chef's kiss, man.
Yeah,
that's and you got the theme that you got going on. Like if they don't, the NFL is dropping the ball Roger Goodell, let me lean into this.
Yeah, there you go.
If you don't put the Giants Titans on primetime game, you're missing a huge opportunity.
I think so too. You're leaving so many storylines to like a 1 p.m. Spiro Ditas Adam Archuleta crew. Like of basically they didn't trade coaching staffs, but the Titans offensive staff has a lot of Giants connections. The Giants staff has Brian Callahan, Denard Wilson. You've got the young quarterbacks and the John Harbaugh element of it too that you mentioned that I think the Giants are going to get a lot of primetime games. It wouldn't shock me if the Titans were one of them. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to chime in, our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Again, don't forget your chance to talk to TD is coming up at the top of the hour. Get your questions in 615-737-1025. Today, the Nashville Sounds face the Iowa Cubs at First Horizon Park with first pitch at 6:35. You can catch all of the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Family Leisure and Social Cantina. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Having some fun on this Thursday morning. And don't forget, Talk to TD coming up in about 10 minutes. Get some questions in for Turron Davenport. Anything you have, Titans related, non-Titans related, we'll get to all of it coming up in the 10 a.m. hour. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can also subscribe and chat on our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content. I mentioned in the last segment that I saw a leak that I didn't know if it was from a reputable source that the Titans were playing the Giants in week 3. I have now found the actual report. Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post says the Giants will host the Titans Sunday, September 27th in week 3. So Brian Daboll's revenge game coming up early. And honestly, if I'm looking at this schedule, that's a pretty favorable start for the Titans. Jets is very winnable at home in week 1. Usually, and this isn't, a hard and fast rule, usually when you don't start with a division opponent in week 1, I feel like you usually do in week 2. There's been a ton of Titans-Colts games in week 2 over the past few years. I wonder if maybe you get a divisional game in week 2 and then Giants on the road in week 3. That's not a horrible way to start the season.
That's not bad. And I think that's really good for a Robert Saleh coach team because, look, man, there's a lot of PHW, pure hard work, all gas, no brakes. You know what I mean? A lot of that type. And guys aren't trying to hear that if you're losing. Come on, just spare me that foolishness. But when you're winning,
right?
Hey, all right,
you can embrace it a little bit more.
Yeah. So I think that's a very good opportunity to get the Robert Saleh era started off on a good foot. The energy that he brings is, you even see it in the practice, the rookie minicamp, and we're talking about without the drafted rookies on there, you still could tell okay, this is going to be an upbeat camp and looking forward to it. But to your point though, being able to have those two matchups early, I think the Giants though, watching Get Up, Dominique Foxworth is on there. He said they're going to win more than 7.5 games. I think the Giants are going to be a solid team, but the thing is, you look at Malik Neighbors, he had that knee procedure because of stiffness. That could prevent, and Malik Neighbors is one of those quick change of direction guys.
Yeah.
So you need as much movement and looseness as possible. So that could be a bad thing for the Giants.
Yeah, I think he'll be out on the field for week 3. Obviously, this is the concern with him right now is just, will he be ready to go for training camp?
Right.
But
no, he'll be on the field.
He'll be on the field, but is
I'm
he
talking
going to be
about
100%?
being Malik Neighbors,
right. Will he be the same type of guy?
Yeah, he'll be on the field. That's without a doubt.
I do agree with you, though. The Giants, as a team, this isn't a horrible roster that they have. And now you have the established Super Bowl winning head coach in John Harbaugh. A lot of it is going to just revolve around Jackson Dart. First off, is he talented enough to be a franchise quarterback? And even if he is, will his style of play allow him to stay on the field enough? But I do agree. You look at this roster up and down, they've got good weapons. They bring in Isaiah Likely to follow John Harbaugh from Baltimore. And then on the defensive side, you look at the pass rush options that they have, at the very least, highly regarded coming out of college with Brian Burns, of course, is an established pass rusher, but Arvell Reese, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, the secondary is, maybe not quite as strong.
I like Newsom.
I do like Greg Newsom. Javon Holland's a good player.
Tyler Nubin's a solid safety, young but up and coming.
But overall, that's a team that I think you could look at and say could take a step forward. But it might be better for the Titans to catch that team early on in the season. And for the Titans, getting off to a good start, I think, is important. Last year, you got into that 0-4 hole, and the season just felt over before it even began. I think you need to get some confidence and some momentum into that room early.
You have to avoid that. Here we go again.
Right.
Like that. You got to avoid that. I try to do my DMX. He got a song. He got a song about it. You want to hear it? Here it go. But no, I think when you look at that, you do have to avoid it because you want to, momentum is so real. It is so real. And don't let these, wow, you can't, it's not really true. Yes, it is. You carry momentum, you build momentum throughout the week, but then you carry it from a win into. So when you win, you come in on Monday, to do your film, and then when you come back on Wednesday, you're just like you're carrying over that feel. You do turn the page, but you're carrying over that good feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's build upon it, right? But when you lose, what ends up happening, and it's positive for some, because now you're like, okay, I got to turn this thing around.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there is a such thing as momentum. And don't let somebody tell you just because they put an algorithm and a formula on everything else that's not real because they can't put one on that. It's real. It's true.
Well, and especially coming off back-to-back 3-14 seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, just getting good feelings in that building early of like, all right, what we're doing is working, and we have proof of concept that we can have some success is big. There's no such thing as a must-win game in week one, but it being the Jets at home,
it intensifies it.
I do think that is a game. If the Titans are going to prove they are not a cellar dweller in the NFL anymore, that's a game you got to go win. And the Jets probably feel the same way, right? Like they're like, this is the Titans. We can win this game. Both those teams are going to be heading into that game kind of feeling some pressure of like, all right, this is a game we have to win.
Yeah, because these are two bad teams, from last year.
Yeah.
From last year.
This isn't like the Titans opening the season on the road against Baltimore or something like that, where it's like, man, you just hope to be competitive.
Right.
This is the Jets at home.
You gotta be,
and Robert Saleh is going to have a little bit of extra oomph that week, and honestly, maybe throughout training camp leading up to that one, wanting to get that win. So I do think that the early games we know so far, Jets in week 1, Giants in week 3, those are going to be very, very important games for the Titans to get off to a good start. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. It is now your chance to talk to TD. Get your questions in. Anything you've got for Turron Davenport, we will get to it over the next 30 minutes. 615-737-1025. You can text or call. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up, 125 The Game.
I'm sitting here complaining about JB's workout.
Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly with you on this TD Thursday. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee, Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. It is now time to talk to TD. Your chance to ask any questions you may have for Turron Davenport. We will try to get to all of them over the next 30 minutes. And let's start by going to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Mike from Gallatin is called in. Mike, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Hey, guys, man, thanks for taking my call. So my first thought and comment, I'd love to get both of y'all's opinions on this. So with the conversation about having prime time games, are we considering the exclusive to Netflix, exclusive to Prime Television, exclusive to whatever name that streaming service be considered a prime time game? Because I just don't know how I feel about like that being branded that way. Because when I think of prime time, I'm thinking of Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Without Kerry being a part of my game, I just don't know if I really want to consider it being a prime time game. But my main question, picking up the wide receiver room, I feel like there's a lot of competition that was brought in, and we needed that desperately from last season with injuries. We had to see a lot more of the Xavier Restrepos, the Mason Kinseys, more than we wanted to. With the depth that we brought in, assuming Carnell Tate's definitely a lock, without a doubt, is there any thought that maybe Iamaner's spot might get taken away by somebody we already brought in? I'm a little nervous that he didn't get enough of a chance to establish himself on this team before his spot's already kind of taken away.
That's a good point. I think Carnell Tate is the X, and that's where Iamaner was last year. So Iamaner would be in a rotation, but he's not likely to be a starter. I don't think so. And, although he had a solid year, I don't think he did enough to earn the hey, I'm the outright starter this year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And thanks for the call, Mike. I think that Iamaner is going to get opportunities this year. He's not going to be relegated completely to the bench. And who knows, maybe he ends up surpassing a guy like Calvin Ridley if he has a good camp and throughout the season. But I would expect that your starters week one going to be Tate, Robinson, Ridley, and then DK and Iamaner would be in the rotation.
Yeah, and I think Iamaner, he could play Z. He could play Z, but I think he's very well suited for that X position. And between he and Carnell Tate, I think you're pretty well covered there. So he also asked about the Netflix games and Amazon Prime and all that. To me, anything that's at nighttime is a prime time game. But I get what he's saying. So it's like, now I got to get a daggone Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
Did it anyway. You know what I mean? But I remember 2 years ago, I was like, man, I got to get a Prime subscription.
I will say, I think prime time, I use it very loosely. I'm going to say I would count a prime time game as anything outside of the 1 and 4 o'clock windows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even if they didn't get any international games, but if they had gotten that, it's not prime time, but standalone game may be a better word. Like that, not in the red zone window. Titans played every game last year in the red zone window, either at 1 or at 4. I think I would count, even if it's like they do those Saturday afternoon games late in the season, like it's at 4 o'clock, which technically isn't prime time, but I would still view that as a prime time game because it's a standalone game. You're not in just the mess with everybody else playing in Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's a prime time game when everybody could watch you.
Right.
Sometimes even if it requires a subscription.
Yes, even if it's Prime or Netflix or Peacock or all of the different streaming services that now have dipped their toes into the NFL waters. Let's go back to the phone lines. Again, 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our good friend Trey has called in. Trey, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Good. Hey, I just want to say, I know that we have Will Levis, we have Miss Trubisky, but my thing of it is that I honestly don't want to see Mr. Trubisky on the field, man. I'm just being honest. I think, he hasn't, been a winner, in the league. He's been kind of in the middle range, and I believe that the Titans wasted that money, knowing that Will Levis was still going to be on the team, which he hasn't really even been developed yet. He was just pushed out there to do whatever he could do. And he's a bonehead, so that put, extra pressure on the team, but to go out and get Mr. Trubisky, I think was a big fluke. I think they could have spent that money somewhere else, and they could have spent that money on the cornerback room, or more money in the wide receiver room. But I just think it was a waste of money. And y'all have a good day. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you for the call, Trey.
Much love.
With Mitch Trubisky, no one ever wants to see the backup quarterback on the field, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the whole point of him being the backup quarterback. And for Mitch Trubisky, the Titans still have so much money, and they didn't give Trubisky that much.
Yeah,
2 years, $10 million.
Yeah,
That's it.
So here's the thing, and Trey, I get what you're saying. You definitely don't want to see him out there on the field. And then also, I get what you're saying about Will Levis being back. But, there's some things in play here. And I think when you look at after the last two, like if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm looking at what happened, with Brian Callahan. I'm looking at what happened with Rand Carthon. And I'm like, yeah, the Sandman will come get me quickly. You know what I mean? So I look at this and I say, okay, what's the best way for me to get off on the good foot and win immediately?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian Dable. All right, Daves, listen, we got this young quarterback. Obviously, everything is all revolving around the young quarterback. Do you have anybody that you're very familiar with that knows your scheme that could come in and be an additional teacher for our young quarterback? Oh, yeah, you know what? Matter of fact, Trubisky worked with me at Buffalo, boom, boom, boom. So I think I say all that to say this is a way of trying to fast track the winning process by having someone who's it's no different than when Brandon Allen, and everybody's like, Brandon Allen, your backup quarterback? But it helped with getting Ward fast tracked into the offense and a better understanding of it. Was it the absolute game changer? No, but having another person that understands the offense thoroughly help explain it and be another sounding board when you come off the field. That's important.
Yeah. If it was just Cam Ward, Will Levis, and Hendon Hooker in that room, they're all learning at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And there isn't that veteran presence of Mitch Trubisky who can, Brian Daboll, I've got to get used to that. He's got a lot of responsibilities, right? He's not the quarterback's coach. Shea Tierney, of course, is going to be around a lot, but you need that extra voice in that room who can help these guys out. And I think Mitch Trubisky was a good choice for that. But I don't think signing Mitch Trubisky cost the Titans any players that they could have gotten elsewhere.
No,
they've still got about $60 million available in cap space if they want to use it.
They're good.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you have any questions for Turron Davenport, we will get to all of them. Text, call, put it in the YouTube chat. We will get to them coming up next. Also, boxing fans, 1025 The Game and Team Boxing League have your chance to win tickets to see the Nashville Smash take on the Boston Butchers at Municipal Auditorium on Saturday, May 23rd. 16 rounds and 16 fighters each go at it for 1 round of nonstop action. Text the keyword FIGHT, F-I-G-H-T, to the Game text line at 615-737-1025 to enter for your chance to win. We got some good questions on the text line, including one about LeBron James after he played his last game earlier this week. We'll talk about it coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. It is your chance to talk to TD. We're getting to all of your questions over the next couple of segments here. If you have more, we'll try and wrap them up here. Let's go to Matthew in Nashville on the text line. He asked, which team is more dumb, TD? The Steelers waiting around for a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers to make up his mind on his future, or the Lakers, who this summer will be waiting on soon-to-be 42-year-old LeBron James to decide on his future? Both those teams kind of putting their plans on hold, waiting for their 40-plus-year-old stars to make a decision.
Yeah, I think it's easily, if you're saying more dumb, the dumber team is the Steelers.
Yeah, I would agree with
But,
that.
they didn't fully wait around. They went out and drafted a quarterback, and obviously Drew Aller not ready to take over yet.
You see Mike McCarthy's comments that they basically are trying to
Strip him
erase
down.
everything that he learned at Penn State.
Yeah. That says a lot for their quarterback coach there. But
it doesn't make me feel great about James Franklin and the quarterbacks at Virginia Tech.
I tell you, though, when you look at it, a lot of the in college, you don't really get a chance to, they're just trying to get you going and just figure it out,
Right.
But anyhow, I would say the Steelers, because the Lakers won a chip with LeBron. They were just in the play. They got swept, but they were in the playoffs with LeBron. And LeBron James, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
much respect, Aaron Rodgers, but LeBron James.
LeBron is obviously, he's been more productive later in his career than Aaron Rodgers has been. Like, Rodgers had those couple MVP seasons towards the tail end of his time with the Packers, and obviously was been a very, very good player.
Yeah.
But the last few years, the Achilles injury, he was fine last year. I agree with you. I think the Steelers should have just cut their losses but I think he's coming back. That seems to be where it's trending, but we'll just have to see. I did want to ask, while we're talking about college systems with Drew Aller, they're stripping it down. Did you see the comment Chris Brazzell had after their rookie minicamp? They kind of asked him about the Tennessee system and whether it was pro style enough and how Tennessee wide receivers haven't succeeded. And he said that Josh Heupel has started to work more pro style elements into his system over the last few years. Brazzell said, he's like, there's not a route that I've run so far in rookie minicamp that I didn't run at Tennessee. I thought that was interesting, given that there's a stereotype around Tennessee wide receivers that they don't translate to the NFL.
Yeah, because remember Jalen Hyatt, that was the big thing on his pro day. Actually, it was the Giant scout was like, hey, man, can you run routes? And he was like, man, I can run routes, man. Let me show you. So it makes sense. It makes sense that you're doing that, because it's only going to make your offense better the more routes you're including, and everything like that. So he may have incorporated more, but is he calling it as much? That's the thing, because you're not seeing as much.
Right. That's Chris Brazzell is going to be an interesting project over there in Carolina. It's good. They've got Tet McMillan. He just has to be a compliment, but that's a big, fast guy. If he can figure out the rest of being a wide receiver, I think he could be really good. Joe on the text line says, TD, with the remaining cap space the Titans have, is there anyone you'd like to see the Titans go get?
No.
I think Zeitler's the one name that we talked about.
That's it. But it's like, as far as new guys, no.
There's just, I understand you look and you say, well, you have $60 million in cap space. Why not go upgrade? There's not really an upgrade out there at a lot of spots. The one spot we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I think, was swing tackle is something that I'd like to see them add. I don't feel great about Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon and Austin Deculus as your backup options at tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So along the offensive line, I think you could see some depth additions, but I also don't think that you're going to see any big splash moves over the next couple of months.
Yeah. I don't see that either. Again, June 1st, things could always oh, wait a minute, he's available.
Right.
So you do have that, but
yeah, next month you might see some movement there, because once you get post June 1st, there are some cuts that will happen, and we're waiting on the AJ Brown trade. Maybe there's somebody that gets out there that the Titans have interest in, but I think the roster that you see now is pretty close to the roster you're going to see when they open training camp. 1592 says, TD, which would be a worse look for Titans fans in the opening week? Sweat getting a sack on Ward and doing his stomach rub dance, or the Jets intercepting Ward for the first time in almost 2 years? I think if it was Jarvis Brownlee Jr. who got the pick, that one would look worse.
I don't know, man. Both will look bad. Yeah, I'll side with you on Jarvis Jr. I'll side with you on him.
I think if it was just like a random corner or safety or linebacker who picks off Cam Ward, I mean, something's got to give. The Jets aren't going to not intercept a quarterback ever again. It's going to happen. You'd hope it doesn't happen in week 1, but it could. If it's Jarvis Brownlee Jr., though, I think that would be more, what was the word? A worse look for the Titans. I know
at least you got something significant in return for Sweat. So
yeah,
it's like it kind of offsets.
Right. You got
doing
a swap of 7ths basically for or a 6th and a 7th for Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Not exactly what you want. And Ian and I were joking. Robbie and Joe were talking about this morning about the Jets not having a single interception last year. It's like, what if Cam Ward's first pass of the year is a pick 6 to Jarvis Brownlee Jr.? Just
that would be disgusting.
It would be horrible. Weston Hermitage says, TD, just curious, how many times did MJ get swept in the playoffs in his career? I'll wait. Take your time. I have no idea.
I don't believe it happened. I'm almost
There's
positive.
no way.
I would guess it didn't happen,
way.
right? And
no,
yeah,
I don't believe it happened.
LeBron just got swept by the Thunder.
Hey, listen, man. Look, like I'm 40
yeah,
plus.
You're
you know
an MJ guy.
So I'm gonna go with MJ as the GOAT. That doesn't mean he's my favorite player, because Bernard King and Dominique Wilkins or Patrick Ewing are. But you know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that LeBron is better than MJ. You know what I mean?
I think I'm still on MJ right now. It's close though. Like you've got to look at different things. Obviously, LeBron has had more longevity than Michael Jordan has had,
but that's to be expected.
But the peak for Michael Jordan of winning 3 straight titles, then stepping away to play baseball, and then coming back and immediately winning 3 more, like that will never be matched. I don't think.
Yeah, and when I say that's to be expected, in that medicine is different now. You know what I mean? Like you're able to do things.
Right.
Recovery is different now, so it's you better have a longer career.
Yeah.
There's so many more options too.
That is true.
Yeah.
The treatment and the medicine has taken it's moved forward leaps and bounds over the last 30 years.
Shoot, Bernard King's a good example. Even Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
So Dominique popped his Achilles. He was never the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Bernard King had the multiple ligament tear. He was out for 2 years.
Right.
Adrian Peterson gets it and comes back and rushes for 2K.
Yeah, the treatment of especially the severe injuries has gotten
it's
much better. I mean, it's like even a few years ago, Achilles injuries, it was like you're out 18 months.
Yeah.
And now it's like you see guys coming back 9-10 months later and they're ready to go. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was trying to get back for the playoffs if the Jets had made it a few years ago. Yeah. Let's see. 4312 asks, and this is kind of schedule release related. So I hear you guys saying it's the NFL people will keep buying streaming services to watch the games, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, well, I'm not paying for this anymore. At what point is the NFL going to see a dip in viewership? I will say the NFL, I think they realize that whatever they do, people are still going to watch at this point. Maybe there is a limit, but right now the NFL, I think, realizes that their product is so good and has they're king. The NFL is king. That's what we always say. I think they realize that they can kind of do whatever they want and people are still going to watch.
They're going to, it's just the way it is, man. I mean, today's a good example. A scheduled release show? Are you serious?
I know.
And that scheduled release show, this is what's crazy. That scheduled release show will probably get more viewers
than like an NBA playoff
game. Than last night. And as great of a game as that was.
Yeah, that Cavs-Pistons game, it was great.
Oh, my God. But it's going to get more ratings than that.
You're 100% right. This country loves football and just football-related events like a schedule release.
Crazy.
And
draft.
It's probably hypocritical of me as someone who loves the draft and will sit there and watch all 256 picks or whatever it is. But I'm like, the schedule release, just send me an email and let me know. Like that, I do not care to watch a schedule release show.
I don't either.
But there are people who are going to be locked in from I think it's 6 to 10 on ESPN tonight. And
4 hours.
Here 4 hours of breakdown of games that we already knew were happening. We're just finding out dates and times.
And if I'm not mistaken, there are no playoff games tonight. There's 2 NHL playoff games, but I don't believe there's an NBA game tonight.
You might be right because there were 2 sweeps.
No, there's nothing tonight.
Yeah, you're right. No games tonight, so
hey, listen, I tell you what, folks, if you have nothing to do and you do want to listen, go ahead and you could tune into 102.5. You hear myself and Q Myers. I'll be on ESPN Radio
there you go
tonight from 9 to 12.
Love it.
So
you can tune in and listen to more schedule release talk.
More schedule release talk. I got the email. We're already going to talk about. We'll talk about some playoffs too, though. So
yeah, and
you get what you want.
The NHL games are good tonight. I mean, Sabres and Canadiens Game 5, 2-2 series back in Buffalo. That building is going to be rocking up there. And then the Golden Knights trying to close out the Ducks in Anaheim. We've gotten a lot of reaction on the MJ LeBron stuff, which is to be expected. Oh, here's one which Parker and I said we were going to get to here. I'm glad that Damian brought this up. So Corey Curtis yesterday, and I want to preface this with, he said he understands both of them are supremely talented, some of the best artists of all time. He said he's not a big Michael Jackson or Prince fan. He said, whose playlist is better, TD's Thursday or Corey's Wednesday vibes?
TD's face is all I need to see. It's all I need to see.
So the
Corey says some bogus things on here.
Corey. So it's funny. It's funny. Like, sometimes, like I'm gonna just skip it. His human card is revoked. I'm gonna just put it that way. You're Corey Curtis. You are not a human being. You cannot be a person if you do not like Michael Jackson or not. The spectrum of songs that Michael Jackson and Prince, there isn't a human emotion that doesn't have a song that you can relate to. How can you say that, Corey?
We said this yesterday. We're like, we got to get TD's thoughts on this because
TD, I got after him yesterday. It's your turn today.
Oh my!
It was the way.
So who did he say? Like what?
The way Corey put it is that he understands how talented they are because Prince is one of, if not the greatest musician ever, and Michael Jackson as well as the king of pop. But he said that it's just not his flavor. Like that's not the type of music.
He's just not a man. So get this, because I played Jackson 5. This is how this whole thing started. I played Jackson 5, and he said he needed some music with some more testosterone. So he asked me to play Blondie, who's a female rock star.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. And I'm like, Corey, what are you talking about?
See, Corey and Parker got into it yesterday.
Rightfully so.
No, not about this, about something differently. I think the only thing that might top it is if we got TD and Corey together and let them argue about music for.
I'd love that.
There would be no conversation.
If he needs to call in, he's more than welcome to.
He gonna play what's the song? Call Me Baby. The other one, making my way downtown.
Oh.
He that one too, right? That's
Is that that's the White Girls with Terry Crews? I love this song.
Yeah, how did you know?
How did you know?
Yo, what? No, this is the first time I've ever in my 49 years and 5 months of life that I've ever encountered a person that doesn't like either Michael Jackson or Prince. Normally the conversation, because me and my lady had to talk, and I had to leave her downstairs. I just went upstairs. I just and walked away like that. We had normally the conversation is like Michael Jackson versus Prince.
Yes.
Look, I understand both are great, but I happen to like Diamonds and Pearls is one of my favorites. I understand both of them are great, but Michael Jackson's Human Nature was never, ever have I experienced that. That's unbelievable, man.
We should just cancel Corey. I think that's what we should do.
See, Corey does listen a lot, even on like the days he's not.
I'm waiting for the text.
I'm surprised he didn't text me, but there's a good chance he's just not listening. I'll have to send him the podcast of this and just be like, go listen to the 10-15 segment.
Oh no, this will be the promo, so he'll hear it at some point.
Okay, awesome.
Corey Curtis. It's a damn shame your music selection if you don't like either one of them.
Oh man, 4312 says make it 2. I don't care for either one either.
Cancel him too.
Oh my gosh.
I will say, obviously, not nearly as big of a star as either Michael Jackson or Prince. My wife, on the honeymoon, I played. It was. I always don't. I'm not able to separate whether it's Phil Collins or Genesis.
Okay.
But I played some, and she goes, "Who's Phil Collins?" And I was like, "Oh my god."
Everything you had told me was right about her up until that point, man. No,
well, and then I played like In the Air Tonight, and of course she knows that song.
Yeah,
that's it's a song everybody knows.
Listen,
but she's like, "Oh, I didn't know who this was."
You took advantage of an opportunity to educate her. Knowledge is to be gained and passed along.
Right. I played her at least 10 songs from Phil Collins or Genesis later on in the trip. So we got her right. Wow. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will take all of your thoughts on anything. If it's LeBron versus MJ, Michael Jackson and Prince, we'll talk about all of it. But we will get back into the NFL coming up after this. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 102.5 The Game.
Yeah, it's
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. We're all over the place today. Talk to TD. Opened up a lot of different Pandora's boxes.
And Corey somehow doesn't like this
How could
song.
you not? That's Rosie Gaines too, man. This is man.
So this is the song that you played that he said.
This is TD's song.
This is
Okay,
my song.
gotcha.
This is one of
I
my
thought-
favorite Prince
I
songs.
thought this was the song that you said Corey didn't like.
My favorite
Corey
Prince song.
probably doesn't like it.
My
if he's not a
favorite
fan.
Prince song. You couldn't play it on the air. We'll get banned. But let me tell you something. It's a great song. It's called "Insatiable." Oh man, it's like 8 minutes long. It's like 8 minutes long, man.
I was going to say we'll have to listen to it during the break, but we won't have time. We'll have to split it between a couple of breaks. We gotten a lot of responses on this. 4312, who said he doesn't care for Michael Jackson or Prince as well, says Jimi Hendrix is king.
Okay. You got me. Hey Joe is one of my favorite songs.
That's more respectable than what Corey said.
Yeah, at least you could say Jimi Hendrix is king, like of rock among the kings. There's so many different ones, but that's okay. Yeah, you got me. I could fool with that.
Tommy says I put Queen above all of them.
Hey, listen,
Queen's great. Freddie Mercury's great.
Listen,
Yep.
when DMC sat in this chair, we talked about music, and I told him, I said, "What do you think of Freddie Mercury? He's one of my favorites. What do you think?" And he seconded it. So yeah, I'm okay.
We also are back to some LeBron versus the other MJ comments here. Nevada Josh with a very hot take says there is no LeBron versus MJ comparison when Kobe is the GOAT. Kobe's top five.
I can
Kobe's
never
not
slander Kobe.
Kobe's not in that
You
conversation.
can't slander Kobe.
No, Kobe's not in that conversation.
Really?
I don't think he
I
is.
love
Kobe.
I didn't like Kobe when I was a kid because I was a Suns fan, and every time the Suns faced the Lakers in the playoffs,
Come on. No, he's don't
Kobe-
make me say
Kobe-
this on the air.
Kobe's great.
not in the GOAT
Kobe's
conversation.
great.
I
He's
love,
Jake.
I
He's not in
love
the
Kobe.
conversation.
Hey, how did Denzel say in Training Day? Jake. Hey man, you gotta have fun.
Wait, do you actually think
But-
Kobe's in the GOAT debate?
Kobe's not in that tier. He's in the next tier. He's not in that tier.
Kobe is not in the GOAT debate.
No.
He's GOAT debate adjacent.
And this is coming from somebody. I love Kobe. I love Kobe.
I always
What separates LeBron from Kobe?
I mean, LeBron's got all of the stats over Kobe, and they have the same amount of rings, right? Kobe had 4. So give me LeBron for that. I also think LeBron at his peak was a more dominant player. Peak Kobe was phenomenal, but
Kobe, that's a tough question because not only did Kobe score all the points on you, he shut down the opponent. Like
Kobe,
LeBron's not doing the defense that Kobe does.
I think you can make a great argument that Kobe's number 3, but I would say 100%.
I would say 100%
MJ
top
and LeBron are top 2,
4 or 5.
I all I'm saying is you can make a conversation for Kobe being among the GOATs.
Among them, yeah, sure. I would say you could firmly put him on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
It is Mount Rushmore season.
I guess it
I'm
is.
coming to find out. Like these guys I talk to every day almost.
So if we agree that LeBron, MJ, and Kobe are 3 of the 4 on Mount Rushmore, who would be your 4th?
It's just so hard. I don't know that I could do 4 because you got
There's so many good options.
Look. You gotta put Larry Bird in.
I was gonna say
man.
Larry
You know what I'm
and
saying?
Magic.
Like, I'm not going to discriminate. Magic got to be in there.
Kareem,
and I mean, you know, we gotta talk it up for the old heads. You know, as you said, Wilt, Bill Russell.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
The Bill Russell conversation is always interesting because he's got 11 rings.
Yeah.
Is it 11 or 10?
11.
It's
11.
11.
I believe it's
Yeah.
11. That's an interesting comment. But I mean, that's hard. That's hard. I gotta put Kobe in the conversation.
He's in the conversation. We got 4312 says MJ, Wilt, Kobe, LeBron, number 4. That's what he'd have. Glenn from Greenbrier says Kobe over LeBron, not even close. LeBron doesn't have the killer instinct Mike and Kobe have.
But he's also the all I think it's MJ, but LeBron is also the all-time leading scorer.
Right.
By a mile.
He played longer than
I know.
You know,
I know.
He went to how many?
I still think MJ's the GOAT.
He went to how many straight finals? I know he didn't win all of them, but he went to every single finals from 2011
and see, this is why I hate these
to 2019.
Because a strong case could be made for a legit 4 or 5 people. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 guys. I just know, man, watching Mike and to me, like we mentioned Bird, we mentioned Magic. You know, you could talk up, you could mention Elijah Wan.
Yeah,
you
Shaq
could say Shaq.
Yeah,
you could put Patrick Ewing in there. Not GOAT, but like you could say, hey man, he's
Kevin
one
Durant,
of the best
I think,
centers.
is up there as well.
But this is my point. All those guys that you're talking about were repeatedly denied by Mike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Era, yeah.
You talk about Barkley. You talk about Karl Malone. You could say Gary Payton. And I'm not saying GOATs like the best ever, but among the best ever at their position. Charles Barkley and Karl Malone are among the best power forwards ever. Guess what? Neither one of them could do a thing with Jordan, right? You talk about Elijah Wan. His team, the Rockets won when Jordan was gone. You talk about Patrick Ewing. I know personally that the man, I hated Jordan because what he would do to the Knicks, right? You talk about Bernard King, one of the best scorers ever. The Knicks couldn't do, and even when that year he led the league in scoring with the Bullets back in the day before they were the Wizards.
Yeah,
showing my age here. But then even like Dominique Wilkins, like you could name so many great players that just had to fall on the sword to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no, it's
and that's
true.
the thing for me that separates him from everyone else.
And that's why, even as somebody who did not grow up on Michael Jordan, I grew up with Kobe and LeBron. I still would say Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but I think LeBron is clearly second there. And then I think there's
no denying LeBron.
There's arguments that for any of those guys that we just named, like Will on Music Row mentions Tim Duncan and Steph Curry. Like they deserve to be
okay.
Steph Curry changed the game,
right? So
but guess what? Guess what? Tim Duncan and the Spurs couldn't do what? Beat who?
Beat LeBron.
Yeah.
Mike.
Beat Mike until Mike.
I'm talking about Tim Duncan
until Mike was gone.
Until he was gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Those old Heat Spurs series back in the day, or when I was a kid, I loved those.
Yeah.
With like Kawhi, Manu Ginobili. I loved Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, Ginobili had a nice game.
Tony Parker.
Old school game. Tony Parker too. Whew, yeah, they had a game. But let me say this. LeBron went to Miami. And they put the they got the Avengers together.
The Heatles.
But guess what? Dirk Nowitzki said, not today.
Yeah.
Oh, Dirk.
That was a great series.
That's who I modeled my game after.
That Mavericks team.
Really?
Jason Terry, the Jet, was on that team.
Brendan Haywood has a really dope series.
Yeah.
The cartoons on IG.
Yeah.
And he said Jason Terry got the Davey O'Brien trophy and Dallas championship. He got that tattoo he got that tat before that season.
Wow.
Because he believed that much.
I love it. That 2011 finals when the Heat were, that was the first year with Wade and Bosh and LeBron. And
I hated that team.
Me too. And then they won the back-to-back after that. The Ray Allen 3 against the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And
remember that year they were playing the Knicks and it was like 1-1 and then the Knicks blew it late. And Amari Stoudemire, who I used to love,
I love
his game. Of course, you did as a Phoenix Suns fan.
Those Suns teams with Nash and Stoudemire and Grant Hill was on some of the even like later career Shaq was on one of those teams. That was a fun team to watch.
But Stoudemire after the game, he punched a fire extinguisher and messed his hand up, and he was out the next game. Well, I got. We could have a segment or even not just a quick convo. What player would have been the best had they avoided injury? Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady.
Oh.
Who else can we put? Oh, got to put in like the Portland point guards.
Yeah.
Like Brandon Roy.
Danny Granger.
Danny Granger.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a dude who was great. Brandon Roy's a good. Yeah, we can do that coming back.
Yeah. Penny. Can't forget Penny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
615-737-1025.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this conversation.
Talk to TD has sent us into a spiral, and we're letting it ride. We will wrap up hour number 1 after this. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly with you, finishing up the second hour on this TD Thursday. We've gone down rabbit holes
Definitely
this
have.
hour, which it's been fun. We got into music for a little bit there, but we've gotten to some of the greatest NBA players of all time and who deserves to be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up a good question as we went to break. Who would be in that conversation if it weren't for injuries? Who could have been one of the greats, but obviously injury slowed down their career? You mentioned Tracy McGrady. I think that is easily one of the ones that comes to mind. But we've gotten some texts and in the YouTube chat, Tommy, Chris, and Dixon, Derrick Rose. Like that, 100% Derrick Rose has to be in that conversation.
That's a great one. And, even the story.
Right.
You know why he wore 25, right? Do you ever see the ESPN, the 30 for 30
I
on
believe
Benji
I
Wilson?
did. Yeah.
You talk about somebody who might have been one. They said Benji Wilson. So Benji Wilson went to high school in Chicago. I forget which high school it was, but he was shot and killed. But they said when Benji was in high school, he was going to Bulls games and giving Jordan, Scottie Pippen, getting all them work. High school.
Yeah.
I know another guy that was doing that, by the way. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you look at injuries, though, I probably would say Derrick Rose is a good mention. And I remember talking to one of his trainers, and they said the torque that he put on his body was just too much. Like how violently he would cut and how he would jump. Remember, he was a 2-foot jumper.
Right.
And his movement, it was just too much. That's why he was always injured. It's a shame, but he's got to be up there. MVP a year or two.
Right. I think you look at a lot of players who are just supremely athletic, and the human body's not meant to be able to do some of the stuff they can do. That's what makes it so impressive, but it also leads to those injuries.
Like you look at what Jordan Tyson did in his, they showed the video, the crossover and all that. That was crazy. But I got to go with T-Mac.
Yeah. I think that's the correct answer, right? Like somebody just texted in. Will on Music Row said Kobe said T-Mac was the greatest injured player and that he could do everything Kobe could do.
That's what I was about to say.
Right.
He and I are sharing a brain. I literally was about to say that, but I said, let me let Jake talk because I talk too much. I think T-Mac, because he used to give Kobe that work. And then, go back to that game with the Rockets, man. They were down, 9 points with a minute something left.
Yeah.
This guy went crazy.
He was ridiculous.
He could shoot. He could rebound. He could 6'10", handle. T-Mac was dumb, man.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't do anything with that dude.
Yeah. It's
nothing.
So disappointing. And that's what's tough when you look at basketball. I think is the one sport where it stands out the most of these guys whose career were just cut so short due to injury. And yeah, he's one of them. Derrick Rose. Will also mentions Yao Ming having to retire early because of
Yao Ming,
his leg injuries.
Yeah, and he was on that team.
Yeah,
that T-Mac. And it was actually he scored 13 points in 35 seconds. How do you do that?
That's crazy.
How?
13.
I'll never forget that. Never forget watching that video over and over and over.
I remember watching the game, and I'm like, God dang, what's yo, is crazy. It's crazy. Because he kept getting rips, and he was hitting the threes, and man, it was ridiculous.
And one of those guys who could just, when he wanted to take over a game and say, we're not losing this game, he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we got lots of good answers on this. Philip says Grant Hill. That's
no, I mentioned him. Yeah, Grant Hill.
Grant Hill, he did have a long career, but just, I think his ceiling was taken down by the injuries.
So for me, Grant Hill was more all around, right? He wasn't just an outright scorer like T-Mac, D Rose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just I remember him coming in with the Pistons, more all around game, but he was darn good. And you got to mention him without a doubt.
Right. A couple others. Obviously, this isn't injury related, but like a good mention of a player who could have been great and obviously career was cut short. Len Bias, of course. Yeah, man. At Maryland.
I was 9 years old.
Crazy.
And I remember vaguely how much he was supposed to be the next thing. Because I remember looking at the newspaper. It was on the cover of it was on the Post, the Times, all the Daily News. I couldn't believe it because you don't understand that drugs have that. You don't know
Right. As a 9-year-old kid. Yeah.
As a 9-year-old, like you see some stuff, but you don't know that. You don't correlate it.
Right.
You know?
No, that I haven't grown up in the DMV, Northern Virginia area. I had a lot of family friends who grew up Maryland fans, and they always used to talk about Len Bias of like, man, he was unreal. And obviously one of those what could have been stories that we're talking
That's
about.
a great mention.
Yeah.
That's a great
that was Rick and Gallatin.
Yeah.
615. Go ahead.
I got another mention.
Go ahead.
And it was my boy. Boy, I used to love this dude, man. Drazen Petrovic.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You talk about giving Jordan work. Yeah. You gotta look up the Mad Max, Vernon Maxwell, when he talked about Petrovic, because he said Petrovic had this smell, and he was like, it's the worst smell he ever smelled. So he used to hate guarding him because he stunk so bad. It was funny, man. Mad Max I love watching Vernon Maxwell's interviews with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. That's a great platform, man.
I'll have to look it up in the break. 615-737-1025. We got one more hour to go on this TD Thursday. I have a question kind of adjacent to this. We can do that next. We will talk some more Titans, more NFL throughout the show as well. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Final hour on this TD Thursday. Next man up, 102.5. The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We went down some rabbit holes in hour number 2, and we're going to stick with it here. We were talking about the NBA and players who had injuries impact their career, cut their career short, but they could have been one of the greats. I wanted to see if you have any football players that you can think of, NFL guys who, could have been one of the greats, but just too many injuries and they could never come back from it.
Yeah, the top 2. Well, I'll mention a few. You got to say Gale Sayers.
Yep.
I wasn't old enough to see him play. You weren't old enough to see him play. Most listeners weren't old enough to see him play, but I'm old enough to see the highlights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A guy that we were old enough to see play, Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Another one. And it's crazy because he's one of the rare instances where a guy was better in the NFL than college.
Right.
But to me, it comes down to 2. I was old enough to see Bo freaking Jackson.
Yeah, that's probably the answer, right?
Man, Bo Jackson,
one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Unbelievable. I think he, as a running back, I mean, I don't know anyone else who single-handedly ran a reverse to himself, but Bo Jackson did. Well, Marcus Allen did it too. Got to remember that in '83. But yeah, so I go him. But then another one that I don't think many people will mention because it's just kind of forgotten. That run that Sterling Sharp had.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about a tough receiver. Shannon Sharp will tell you, I'm one of few people who's a Hall of Famer and not even the best at my sport in my family.
Yeah.
Thank God the NFL got it right finally and put him in there. But, man, Sterling Sharp has to be mentioned.
Yeah, 4312, as you were saying it, texted Sterling Sharp in.
You know what? Hey, we need to play Bob Marley redemption song for him because he's redeemed himself.
Yeah,
he's redeemed himself.
I had 2 running backs from, I guess it was about 15 years ago that I always think of. One of them is a Virginia Tech guy, David Wilson.
Oh, yes, the neck.
He
was
the
Giants.
Just a ridiculous athlete.
Dumb speed, man.
There were videos of him at Virginia Tech practice doing 10 standing backflips in a row, just one after the other. And there's a video of him catching a rabbit. Like, he chased a rabbit.
Was he a Florida kid?
I don't know, actually.
Look it up, because if he's from Pahokee, Florida, that's what they do in Pahokee, Florida, man. They throw the rabbits in the field and they set the field on fire. They used to do it, and they would chase the rabbits. That was your conditioning.
David Wilson is from Virginia. He is. So
Virginia.
Yeah, he was.
What part of Virginia?
Danville.
I'm not familiar.
It's like Southern Virginia.
Okay,
like Central Southern.
Okay, so it's above the 757.
Yeah. It's kind of like west of the 757.
You mentioned Virginia guys, Anthony Poindexter. Remember him? Safety?
Yeah.
Broke his neck, man. He would have been. I don't know about Hall of Famer, but
especially the spinal injuries. It's just tough because you really can't come back from it. Another guy that I think gets mentioned in these conversations a lot, even though I don't know if we ever saw him play in the NFL. Maybe just a little bit. Marcus Lattimore out of South Carolina. He had that devastating knee injury. He was talked about like one of the great running back prospects, man. And he just never recovered. It was so brutal.
A damn shame, man. That's a great mention too. Marcus Lattimore is a great mention. I remember the 49ers got him like fourth round or something.
Yeah, it was just like take a chance on him. But
it just wasn't the same, man. He wasn't the same, man.
6822 says Bob Sanders. That I remember I hated when the Titans faced the Colts because he was all over the field.
Yeah, he still had a pretty good career, but I could dig it. He was derailed. Yeah, I like that one.
Speaking of the Colts, Wes and Hermitage. Thank God for the Titans that Andrew Luck didn't pan out. His injury was the turning point for the Colts. Yeah. I will say, and we always say, you never root for an injury.
Right.
But I was rooting for his retirement. When I saw the notification that Andrew Luck is retired, I threw a party.
I remember I was at the Nashville State Fair, and I was mad that we had to pay to go in, and then I had to pay to go into the darn fair. Then I had to take a second and do all the research and make sure that was true.
Right. I mean, him walking off the field during the preseason game after the news had leaked and the Colts fans booing him, brutal.
Oh, here goes one, Dante Culpepper.
Yeah. Nevada Josh said Dante Culpepper, Cadillac Williams. Let's see. 4312 mentions the other quarterback in the 2012 draft. Robert Griffin III. Yeah. He, I mean, his rookie season was ridiculous. And then he got the knee injury against the Seahawks. Was that in the playoffs? Yeah, it was in the playoffs.
And the initial injury was, though, it happened against the Ravens.
Right.
Hello. And that's when you talk about like NFL athletes, we're like, Haloti Ngata was like 6'5", 340, and he chased down RG3.
Right.
A college, like a sprinter.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
So many good ones. Taylor in Bellevue says LaMichael James. He was so much fun to watch at Oregon.
Oh, yes. I remember him, man. He might have been in the running for the ugliest football player ever too, man. But he was a good player. He looked like Chris Sanders.
You have to use that for run TMC.
I would get him. I would get him.
Let's go back to the phone lines here. Kenny the mailman is called in. Kenny, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Oh, man, how do I follow that? I've lost composure. That is wild. But listen, before I start, TD's Urkel analytical voice is one of the highlights of me listening to the radio.
Yes,
I can't help it.
I was so glad it came back today.
And the thing about humor is there's a lot of truth in that. So that's why I find it funny. Now, I was a teenager when this guy got drafted. I actually saw him play live, and he was hurt in college. So I was stunned that people thought, hey, we'll pick this guy ahead of Michael Jordan and everything will work out.
Yeah.
And that's Sam Bowie.
Yeah,
he
Sam
was
Bowie.
smooth. He could do a lot of things, but I mean, he was hurt even in college. Why? I still can't understand how they thought they would pick it. It would pan out.
And Portland did it again, with Greg Oden over Kevin Durant.
Right.
They never learned. Now, TD, I need a favor. Okay.
What you got?
I hold you highly exalted in your music experience, much higher than whoever that guy was yesterday there to stir up trouble. What was his name?
Corey Curtis.
It's not important right now, Kenny.
Okay, my buddy finished second in American Idol. We went to church. We go to church with Jordan McCullough. So write this down during the break. YouTube Jordan McCullough singing "Somebody to Love" by Queen. Now, I'm not going to tell you would have me committed if I said it was better than the original version, but Jordan had just heard it that week for the first time. Google it and then give me your critique when y'all come back from break. Can you do that?
I got you.
I got
you. Now, you know Freddie Mercury is one of my favorite musicians. So I listen.
That's why I listen. I'm treading on eggshells. I will not hurt your feelings. Just listen to it and then tell me. Okay?
I got you. I got you.
We're listening.
Thanks for the call,
appreciate
Kenny.
you, man.
Have a good one. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to join in. We'll get back to some Titans NFL talk here. Two other ones from Nevada, Josh here. Todd Gurley, Navarro Bowman. Those are both good. Patrick Willis deserves to be in the conversation.
He mentioned Bowman was, man, that year that Luke Kuechly got Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That was a crime.
Yeah.
Bowman should have, do you know how good Navarro Bowman was?
Yeah.
Oh my, he and Patrick Willis in the middle of that defense was crazy.
Right. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Before you left.
Right.
Yeah, because we talked about the wig splitters. Dante Whitner and Deshaun Golson.
Yeah.
And the Cowboy Justin Smith play. See, that's why I love sports. I love music because it takes you right back.
It's just like
I'm literally in 2008, 2009 right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love that about it.
No, that was a fun defense to watch. It was like the defense the final couple years where Alex Smith was the quarterback and into Kaepernick, like 2010, 11, 12. Those were fun. Alden Smith off the edge. Man, good stuff.
Really good stuff.
615-737-1025. We'll get to more of these if you have any, but we will get back into the Titans NFL schedule release, a couple more segments here on the show on this TD Thursday. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. I think Parker was listening in here.
That's amazing.
So we did go back and listen to Jordan McCullough, who sang "Somebody to Love" on American Idol.
Man, listen,
Murfreesboro's own, killed it.
He brought that thing up from his ribs.
Yeah,
man.
No, crushed it
from the ultra inside of his body. At the end,
yeah,
somebody. Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you for Kenny for sharing.
Listen, I'm biased because like anytime somebody has as unique of a voice as Freddie Mercury, it's tough to have a song remade by him. Jordan McCullough.
Yeah, well done.
Great job.
Now, I will say, I don't know if I can say it's better than the original, but he definitely honored it. It was very well done.
Yeah.
And then TD was sharing from the voice of Holland.
The voice of Holland. I don't know.
It was a guy, they didn't have the name on there, who sounded exactly like Bob Marley singing Redemption Song.
Exactly like him.
It was
like it's
literally
crazy.
An imitation.
And we talking about music. So I wonder if Corey likes. I would imagine Corey's a Jimi Hendrix, but I wonder if Bob Marley comes into play.
We'll have to ask him.
Yeah,
on
you got to ask. Now, if he says no to both of them, like I'm deleting his name from my phone.
Are we sure he deserves any more appearances on the show?
He doesn't if he says no to both of them. And if he says yes, I need you to have him tell you 2 songs by each of them, because we're not gonna go on no foolishness. Yes, like, oh yeah, sure. No, I want you to know a couple songs. When you tell me a couple songs, and don't say no "One Love" by Bob Marley. Like, I want to hear like Redemption Song. I want War. Like, give me something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We'll have to check in with Corey next week.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this vague, this terrible. I can't even think of the word obnoxious music
nonsense.
He still hasn't texted me, so he's clearly not listening. But we'll have to make him aware of everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
It's been a fun show so far. We've gotten into a lot today, but we'll get back into the Titans here because we got TD in, want to talk more. We did get into wide receivers a little bit earlier on. And there was one text during Talk to TD that I wanted to return to because I thought it would play into our conversation later on. So he says, hey, TD, if you had to predict the breakdown of the percentages of targets for Ridley, Tate, Robinson, Helm, and then everybody else, how would you put those percentages?
That is a good question. I would probably say I think Robinson is going to get the bulk of the targets. But it's going to be like paper cuts versus gashes, right? Because Tate, I think, is going to be the gasher.
Yeah.
He's going to be the gasher. But so we say percentages. Man, that's a good question. Because Gunnar Helm gets a lot of target. I'll say Helm and Robinson are 30%.
Okay.
So that's
high for Helm. Or are you saying combined or like each getting 30%?
Combined.
Okay.
Yeah. Combined, I'll say 40. Damn.
We were looking back at Brian Dable offenses of the past on Tuesday. And so like the 2024 season with the Giants, Malik Neighbors had like 170 targets, and I think Robinson had 140.
Yeah.
Then you look back to the Bills in 2021, Stephon Diggs 164 targets, Cole Beasley 112.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is Tate going to be that role of just volume guy that they're going to feed?
I think the volume guy is going to be Robinson.
Okay.
But
he's going to play the Cole Beasley-esque role though.
It's just so it's different here in that Gunnar Helm to me is a more high volume pass catcher than Dawson Knox.
Okay. Yeah, Dawson Knox 2021,
you know what I mean?
which was Dable's last year, had 71 targets, 49 catches.
Yeah, I could see them having Tate, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Gunnar Helm all in that 80 range.
Okay. My question for you was out of the wide receivers, who would be third? Would it be Ridley or would it be DK, who's kind of that third option?
I think it's going to be Ridley because DK is another in that gasher. They're going to have those times where they like those teams that have a bit of a slower nickel.
Yeah.
And they don't have a corner that could move all over.
So they put DK in the slot.
They're going to put DK in the slot, let him run that, shout out Coach Mack, that transcontinental. That's what they're going to do.
I will say maybe this offense looks more like, I think this is the 2018 Bills that I found. John Brown had 115 targets.
John Brown, I remember him.
And Cole Beasley had 106.
He used to do the dance, that crazy dance.
And then Dawson Knox was third on the team. So maybe that's more what this looks like.
And Knox, that was a 71 target.
This was 50 targets. They pretty much, this was a rough year for the Bills offensively because John Brown led the team in receiving with 1,000 yards. And then Cole Beasley had 106 targets, 778 yards. Dawson Knox was third on the team with 388 yards.
Yeah, I could see it along those lines, but I really do think, I think Wan'Dale is going to be in that 90 to 100.
Okay.
He's only Wan'Dale Robinson's getting 100 targets.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be like 80-80 with Knox, or excuse me, with Gunnar Helm and Tate. And then it's going to be so with Ridley's one of those, you got to, there's select receivers that are really, really good. And the only way you tap into their really, really good is by keeping them involved.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to find a way to get Ridley a lot of targets. Unfortunately, I don't know that Ironman and DK are going to get the same amount of targets they got last year. It just kind of is what it is when you add, what they did. And then you have to factor in the back out of the backfield too.
Right.
They don't traditionally have a huge role in Dable's offense, but they still, you got to involve it,
Yeah, Alec Ironman got 89 targets last year.
Yeah, he's not getting that.
No, I would probably say he's probably more in the 50-ish range. And then DK got 74 targets, but had more catches than Ironman.
Because DK was what, at like 16? How many yards per catch was it?
He was at 9 yards per catch, but I think that's because through a month and a half.
That's right. I'm looking more at the later part of it.
He had 10 catches for 6 yards or something like that.
because he was catching along right there along the line of scrimmage. Yeah.
I kind of want to see, like, game logs wise, so through the first 6 weeks of the season before Brian Callahan got fired, Chim Dike had 18 catches for 26 yards.
Damn.
So he was averaging about 1.5 yards per catch. After that, he had 56 catches for about 400 yards. So 30 catches for about 400 yards. So that's about 13-ish yards per catch. I think that's probably about right for Chim Dike.
Yeah.
The weapons group is definitely improved for this team. You've got depth at wide receiver. I think it's pretty clear they expect Gunnar Helm to take a pretty big step forward with what they've done at tight end this year. They let Chigakonkwo walk. They brought in a blocking tight end and Daniel Bellinger and really not much else.
Yeah.
So I do think that Cam Ward is going to have more at his disposal this year. And we'll have to see what their roles end up being as the season goes along.
And see, the reason why, and this is a lot like when Adam Beasley, what's his name?
Cole Beasley.
No.
Oh, no.
Adam, damn, I'm terrible with names. The number 10 from Clemson, he played, what is his name? The short white receiver.
Adam Humphries.
Adam Humphries. Yeah, I blended he and Cole Beasley together. But I remember when I always thought he was going to get more targets because he was a key first down maker.
Yeah.
And so when I look at Wan'Dale Robinson, look at Gunnar Helm, those are the guys, they're going to work like that 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Like that's where the ball is going, to those guys. And so to me, more targets there are a good thing because that opens up more opportunities for others because it's going to extend drives. And now you get more snaps.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, like, sure, you want to, if you could score, in 3 plays, do it, right? But if you could put together a 13-play drive, that's so much better for the defense. It's better for the offensive line. It's better for the quarterback. It's better for the play caller because, like, when you look at play caller and quarterback, you get into a groove. And then the O-line, when you mix in some runs in there, and then you get and you start dominating. You know what I mean? It's a groove maker. So I think when you look at those guys, that's why to me they're the key to the offense. Obviously, Tate, he's going to be the number one receiver, but those guys are the key to keeping the chains moving.
Last year, the Titans were second worst in the league on third downs, 32%, only better than the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're going to be much better this year.
Much better.
Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be top of the league, but having guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and even Carnell Tate, that was one of the main things that it was Dave Ziegler who said it, that he is a 3-down receiver. And even though, he can get open down the field and make big X plays for you, he also has the route running ability to get you 6 yards on 3rd and 5.
Yeah.
So I do think those two additions are going to make the Titans better on 3rd down than they were a year ago.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was something you rarely hear when you talk about a receiver. Hey, he's a 3-down player.
Right.
But
like,
that's
he
what,
should be.
That's what he should be. But, that's what he said. And I get it. It makes sense.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. We got a couple more segments on this TD Thursday. You can join the Chase and Big Joe show tomorrow from noon to 3 for the grand opening of Goodwood, Nashville, and their brand new location on 219 Lafayette Street. Chase and Joe will be giving away tickets to see Nashville Smash of the Team Boxing League take on the Boston Butchers at Municipal Auditorium on May 23rd. Goodwood, Nashville is the place to go for hardwood lumber with white oak, walnut, maple, poplar, and many more. They have it all, 15,000 square foot warehouse that you need to see. Visit them online at goodwoodnashville.com. I had to pivot there. Did you see the TikTok the Titans put out of trying to get the rookies and some of the players to pronounce Tennessee towns? And
Lebanon.
Like that? That's something Lafayette is the one that gets me because that's Lafayette.
Yeah.
And that
Lafayette.
was
what you said. That's what
that's what Tajay Spears said.
Milan's a tricky one too.
Milan.
I never heard of that.
The vols that Shelbyville. Shelbyville.
That's
Shelbyville.
how you say Louisville?
Louisville. It's like you're supposed to have peanut butter in your mouth or something like that.
That's so back up north they have a thing with so we all say Baltimore.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be Baltimore apparently, but we say it with the BALDI.
Baltimore accents are funny.
What y'all about to do?
I need to wash my hands.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, that stuff. The rough.
What you about
We're
to
gonna go
do?
up on the rough and wash our hands.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 125 the game.
I'm here with you. Come
Next
on, put the
man
lights
up,
on.
102.5 The Game. It's been a Prince and Michael Jackson type of day. We can thank Corey Curtis for that. Got the flashlights in the air here in studio. Couple more
flashlight
segments.
song
You
if
talk
I've ever
about
heard it.
range. Like, this is the same dude to be like, I'm talking Bella, Bella. Yeah. And then you hear him sing this. Range.
Yeah.
And don't this and do you remember the time? Hey man, I got so many Michaels. Those are the two that are my favorites, but like you talk about range.
Yeah.
You can't find somewhere to like one. Come on.
No, I agree. There's a flavor for everybody with Michael Jackson.
Oh, flavor for everyone. We like Baskin Robbins, 31.
It's been a fun show so far. It is NFL schedule release day. We've talked a decent amount about the schedule. We've gotten into some other stuff. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Yeah, only like an hour there where we just went off the rails. Let's looking at the schedule. I did just see the Giants, I guess, they're playing their first two games of the season on primetime. They play the Cowboys Sunday Night Football Week 1 and then the Rams on Monday Night Football Week 2. So unlikely that Giants game is going to be in primetime for the Titans in Week 3.
Oh, well, missed opportunity.
Tough. And takes away one of the games that we looked at as a possibility for primetime for the Titans. But obviously, we won't know the full schedule until later on tonight. I believe those are still the only two that have been officially leaked out there. The Jets in Week 1 here in Nashville, and then the Giants in East Rutherford in Week 3. There have been some other rumors and rumblings, but I've only seen those two officially reported. Let's see. This also has, and I believe these aren't official, that maybe they're playing Vegas in Week 17 on the road and then Jacksonville in Week 13, but we'll have to see if those are actually official. A couple more things on the Titans here, TD. I did see Jeremy Fowler and at ESPN put out this article of like NFL executives talking about next year's offseason, what's going to be some of the big storylines. There wasn't a ton about the Titans in here, but there was one little nugget. A quote from an AFC executive said, Peter Skoronski is a player I think will put up a bigger number contract-wise than the casual fan would think. He's a player that's really good, but not as well known because he's in a smaller market on a bad team. So right now, the market set at guard is $24 million per year. Seems like at least one AFC executive believes he's going to beat that when he eventually signs his extension.
It wouldn't surprise me. And this is a team that has money to do it. And it's a team that, that Trey Smith signed his deal after Borgonzi left. So, but still, Mike Borgonzi believes in building from the trenches.
Right.
First thing he told me about roster construction. Going to start from the trenches. It all starts there and build inside out. So he's going to spend the money. You know what I mean? And this team has money, so it doesn't surprise me. And Skoronski has been rock solid for this team.
And he's the only offensive lineman I think that you look at right now and say, I feel good about Peter Skoronski at left guard. I think you have promise for J.C. Latham, but that's the only position that I feel good about. He's going to get paid. I would guess probably sometime around the start of training camp. That's usually when these deals get done, is early July into late July before camp opens. So we will see when Peter Skoronski eventually gets paid. Here's a good question from Ben on the text line. What would be the most impressive accomplishment the Titans could accomplish this season that is actually realistic right now?
Win the division.
I was going to say make the playoffs. Like, I think that is realistic, but it would be the most impressive thing I think they could do.
You know what's crazy to me? I think they have a better chance of winning the division than just making
being a wild card.
Card.
What are your thoughts on the AFC South? Because we talked about this with Corey a little bit yesterday. It's a really strange division where you had two teams that, Jags went 13-4, Texans were in the divisional round of the playoffs, but I don't know if I feel good about either of them heading into this year for one reason or another.
Well, you look at Houston, like,
that defense is loaded.
The defense is among the best in the league, but it's just, okay, can CJ Stroud become a more consistent player?
Yeah.
Right? So you have that. You look at the Jaguars, I just think I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. He seems to play well against the Titans, but
Yeah.
I don't trust. And then you look, I mean, you saw the way Cam Ward, he went through that defense like a hot knife through butter.
Right. Until he got hurt.
In that first drive. And with all the more weapons, like I think, and it's just always within the division. And the AFC South, for whatever reason, I've noticed, is very similar to the NFC East to me, to where
every year is different.
It's different almost every year, but it's competitive. I don't care if a team is bad, they're going to compete with the best team.
Yeah, I think
the way it
the
is.
AFC South is definitely one of those divisions where you can predict all you want at the beginning of the season, but you really never know.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, CJ Stroud's rookie season, 2023. I thought that the Texans were going to be horrible that year. Rookie quarterback, their offensive line was in flux. The defense didn't seem to be very good, and they won the division. It's like you just the AFC South especially, you really never know.
Yeah, it's to me, they faced the AFC North this year. It's very similar to the AFC North to me in that it's always competitive. But I mean, when you're talking about the competitive with the AFC North, you're talking about Super Bowl competitive,
right?
Competitive. So it's a little bit different, but I mean, it's similar in that there's always competition, and you never know, and they beat each other up, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, Titans are going to have to win some of their divisional games this year. They went winless last season in the division, 0-6. They will have to figure that out first if they're going to possibly compete for a division title. 615-737-1025. Last call for phones. We got one more segment with TD on this Thursday. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Turron Davenport, Parker Kelly. Wrapping up the show the only way we know how.
Yeah,
Did you see Kevin Hart stole our outro for his roast on Sunday?
Did he really?
Well, he had Meek Mill come out live and perform it.
Oh,
so,
yeah, a little bit different.
maybe.
Yeah.
That's our next step.
I like to imagine that he heard us ending these shows every Thursday with it and decided to do the same thing.
I threw the cup in the bottle because I know I say the story every time, but man, when Michael Kendricks was talking to Jeffrey Lurie in the locker room, the Eagles owner and one of the players, and that song came on, and he looked at Jeffrey Lurie, he just started throwing stuff all over. I was cracking up, man. That was like one of the best sports experiences I ever could remember, man.
That was, I mean, what a fun Super Bowl that was.
Oh, man.
One of the more memorable ones, even though it wasn't like a close Super Bowl. The
no,
Eagles,
it was close.
Well, the Eagles
towards
won,
the end. Towards the end, it got close.
Yeah. But like the Philly Special, Dreams and Nightmares, Nick Foles, all that.
BG sacking Brady,
right?
Derek Barnett with Brentwood Academy Zone, recovering the fumble. Oof, that was unbelievable.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have any last-minute thoughts, we got a few more minutes with you. Do want to remind you the 615 Open Golf Tournament might be sold out, but you can bid on all kinds of awesome experiences to directly support Folds of Honor at 615open.com/auction. Have an unforgettable time while supporting a great cause. 615open.com/auction. Schedule comes out tonight. We've seen a lot of reports of games that are going to happen. For the Titans, the only official ones we've seen are week 1 at home against the Jets, week 3 on the road against the Giants. Last night it came out that the opener on Wednesday night now, because they're doing the Melbourne, Australia game on Thursday, which is a whole, I mean, the 49ers are traveling like 32,000 miles this year.
Yeah. Titans have 18,157,
which is a lot, but not as much as having to travel to Melbourne, Australia. I was surprised, though, they went with the Super Bowl rematch for the opener on Wednesday night. Patriots, Seahawks. I thought it was going to be the Bears. Like, it's a good matchup. You got Caleb Williams and a Bears team that's supposed to be up and coming. They're putting a spotlight on the Patriots in on night 1. Which I'm not 100% sure that they'd want that.
Yeah, a lot of off the field stuff to talk about, huh?
Right. Like, obviously it's going to be a story no matter where they put them, but I thought they might hide the Patriots in the 1:00 block for week 1, just to maybe get that out of the way. And then of course they can move on. But man, leading off the season, putting Mike Vrabel in prime time.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
I think they said, look, man, get it out the way. Go ahead and knock it out. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's true. Yeah, that you get it all out in one night, and then hopefully you can move on. But yeah, so that's the opener on Wednesday night. It'll be 49ers Rams on Thursday night in Melbourne. There's no Friday game this year on opening week, I don't believe.
I don't believe
so. Because the last few years they've done the Rio game on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
But that's in week 3 this year. I think it's Ravens Cowboys. And then Sunday night football is Cowboys Giants. Monday night football is Chiefs Broncos in week 1. So we've got the primetime slate laid out for week 1.
Mm-hmm. Now I wonder what they could. It'd be interesting because a lot of times they have the 2 Monday night games. You got the A game and the B game.
I think they've ended that.
Yeah. Have they?
I don't think they're doing Monday night doubleheaders anymore.
Oh, okay.
Which that was always the perfect time to put the Titans on.
See what I'm saying?
I do think they're going to get a primetime game. I'm disappointed it's not the Giants, but the Ravens one, like you said, I think that
you got to do that one.
That one, Derrick Henry, I think it would be kind of surefire if it was his return to Nashville.
Oh yeah.
But still, the idea of Derrick Henry facing his former team for the first time,
and the history between these teams too.
Right.
So.
Right. It's a great rivalry. Let's quickly go to the phone lines. We got a couple more minutes here. Dr. Locke is called in. Dr. Locke, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
What's up, fellas? What's up, Turron?
What's up? How you doing?
Hey, good, man. They, the fellas were talking about it on the 5 o'clock show, the DVD. I don't know what your take is, Turron. I mean, I went with D-Mace. He thought the Vrabel might get like a 3-game suspension. I don't think he's going to darn game. I think he'll be there. I think Mike Tirico, they already announced the game. Tirico's probably going to be classy and talk about Vrabel. He'll mention it a little bit. Regards to, hey, they had a tumultuous off season. I know Vrabel's getting ready to go back to coaching and concentrate on this versus all the controversy. But I don't think he. I mean, Rosini, she's done. She's toast. She'll never work again. But you're a coach that can take a team from 3 wins to 13 wins, and you're in their Hall of Fame, the Ring of Honor, and I mean, they didn't over talk it when the owners get his little rub-a-dub.
Yeah, I think
when
that's
the balls.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. I don't mean to cut you short, but we're up against it. Dr. Locke, that's the ultimate equalizer. How can they use an iron fist on Mike Vrabel when they didn't do it on Bill Belichick, not Bill Belichick, but Robert Kraft? You know what I mean? So I appreciate your last second call, man. That's a great point.
Yeah, and I Mike Vrabel's going to be on the sidelines. It's just going to be, man, you're really shining the spotlight on him immediately.
And it's more everything. That's the only game of the day is everything leading up to it.
Right. Right. It's going to be a week and a half of coverage on that after the preseason ends.
Yeah.
So that does it for us today. Very fun show with you, TD. We will do it again next week.
Lots of fun, man.
We will have a schedule next time we talk, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Connor Newt will join us to react to that. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.
Peace.